From daring motorcycle stunts to holding his breath underwater for 6 minutes, Tom Cruise will do anything for a role. But when you're going without stunt doubles as often as possible, something's bound to go wrong. Like the time Emily Blunt said,
I almost killed Tom Cruise.
On the set of Edge of Tomorrow, these are the 100 million box office movies that Tom gave his all on. Mission Impossible Fallout brought in a whopping $791.1 million. But the stunt Tom remembers most
is the easy one where I'm running and I jump from one building to the next.
Tom was chasing Henry Cavill across rooftops, and although he was meant to hit the side of the wall, the mistake was when his foot landed.
I knew instantly he was broken.
A big X, and he's running!
Tom didn't want to do the take again, so while another actor would have given up there, up he gets and he's running. The moment Tom broke his ankle is actually in the movie. We see why Emily Blunt finds him inspiring, but after the take was done, so was Tom.
I just went, I said, sorry guys, it's broken. Take me to the hospital.
It just wasn't gonna stop him from finishing the movie.
It's not fully healed, but we're shooting.
We hope the $370.5 million they made on this was worth it. As we've mentioned, Emily Blunt was impressed by Tom on set.
He really does everything and wants to do everything, even if the stunt guys and the producers are like, please don't do that.
He even made her want to do her own stunts for the movie. One stunt had Emily driving this crazy old car with Tom in the passenger seat, and the next thing she knew, Tom goes,
oh god, and brake, oh, and brake the car!
But Emily thought she knew more about stunt driving than him.
And I left it too late, and so drove us into a tree.
There was a moment where Emily thought,
and I almost killed Tom Cruise.
But he was alright.
I was just laughing, and he was actually laughing.
He wouldn't be so lucky on Mission Impossible 3. You saw him work through plenty of pain for that $398 million box office. Tom cracked 6 ribs doing one stunt for Mission Impossible 3. He was put in this massive rig that twisted his body around, and it twisted it too hard, and that was it. But just like with his broken ankle, this wouldn't stop him. Another stunt involved his character running away from missiles. And Tom wasn't just gonna fall down. He wanted to make the scene more interesting, so he worked with stunt coordinator Vic Armstrong to have a system of rigs throw him into a car with the force of the explosion. Tom admitted, it hurt. But going back to Emily Blunt for a moment, she isn't the only co-star to have worried they killed Tom on set. That's right, Jamie Foxx also got in a little fender bender with Tom on the set of this $220 million motion picture. Jamie was playing a taxi driver against Tom, who played an assassin, and at one point Jamie lost control of his cab and drove it straight into Tom's Mercedes. The Mercedes was lifted off the ground and flew off set. Tom later said that the entire time I was hitting the roof. I was down on the ground.
That was brilliant.
Jamie noticed that the crew rushed to check on Tom before him, saying, they were so worried that I killed my man. Can you imagine all that money bouncing around in the back seat? And can you imagine all that money almost beheaded for The Last Samurai? Oh, it happened. The Last Samurai brought in $456 million worldwide, and Tom nearly gave his all for it. There was one scene that had Tom and his co-star, Hiroyuki Sanada, approaching one another on mechanical horses. Hiroyuki was supposed to stop a split second before he swung his sword for Tom's head, except the mechanism failed and Hiroyuki kept going. Later saying, the film crew watching from the side all screamed because they thought Tom's head would fly off. Fortunately, Hiroyuki is trained in martial arts. His horse hit Tom, but he was able to stop the sword mere inches away from his neck.
You all did a great job today.
Tom hadn't really been afraid because he trusted Hiroyuki, plus he's used to getting plenty of bumps and bruises from the Mission Impossible movies. Now, the first Mission Impossible movie set the tone for the franchise. Not only did it make $457.7 million worldwide, but the stunts were seriously next level. The exploding fish tank scene is one of our all-time favorites, but Tom knew that if he was standing in the wrong place when the 1,000-gallon tanks blew, I'm really gonna get hurt. Tom hears the first tank explode, and it takes everything in my power to stay standing there until he receives his cue. Tom started running as soon as he did, saying, and it was a wall of water and chunks of glass. Tom walked away with little more than a bruised ankle, while another stuntman had a gashed leg. Well, hey, at least it gave him a break from car crashes. Tom learned the hard way not to add flair to a stunt, even if the movie brings in $157.9 million. NASCAR vet Hut Strickland trained Tom in racing cars for Days of Thunder. Tom has experienced flying planes from Top Gun, so driving was a piece of cake. But there was one day when they were filming at a track 24 miles west of Daytona Beach. And Hut felt that Tom didn't really know what I was talking about. Tom had seen guys on TV squirming back and forth left and right, but when he did it, the car spun out and grazed a wall. Luckily, Tom wasn't going very fast, but too bad he had to kill a $100,000 camera strapped to the side of his vehicle. Now, Top Gun helped turn Tom into a household name. It made $357 million at the box office, but according to Barry Tubb, Cruise came as close to dying as anybody on set I've ever seen. It was during the scene where Maverick and Goose parachute from their plane. Tom nearly sank to the bottom of the ocean. Fortunately, one of the frogmen in the chopper saw his parachute ballooning out, and they were able to save him. But that isn't the only problem Tom had.
We were moving around and did 9.5 Gs and very hard in my body.
He had to keep a vomit bag on hand because the pressure could get so bad.
My head was literally from the pressure, my head was on the ground.
But Tom survived, just to risk his life again on Rogue Nation. Top Gun couldn't scare Tom away from either the water or the air. No more than Oblivion scared him from motorcycles. Mission Impossible Rogue Nation brought in $683 million worldwide, and a blockbuster this big deserves some big stunts. Like the time Tom was strapped to the outside of an Airbus A400M in flight with nothing but a safety harness. He was moving so fast that even a bird or a small stone could hit Tom with deadly force. But it was all okay.
He was just laughing and giving the thumbs up. He was just having a time with his life.
Another scene had Tom holding his breath underwater for 6 whole minutes.
Normally, in underwater sequences, people hold their breath for 10 seconds, 15 seconds max.
Tom really had to go out of his way to prove he could do it safely before they'd allow him to do it, and we can't believe he did. Alright, so how cool was Tom's motorcycle in Oblivion? We know it wasn't what brought in the $286 million at the box office, but Justin Kell at Glory Motor Works definitely did the trick when it came to transforming a regular dirt bike into something futuristic. But there was one stunt Tom did on the motorbike that almost went terribly wrong. He lost control of the bike after flying up a ramp at top speed. It just barely missed his leg, but moments later, Tom can be seen with his hands up, promising, "It's alright, guys." He's used to these sort of mistakes by now. Still, Tom had a blast riding it, so much so that he was even given a version of the bike for his 50th birthday, which he celebrated on set. Ghost Protocol was definitely worth the $694.7 million it made. Do you remember the scene where Ethan Hunt scaled the side of a 2,722-foot skyscraper to reach the 130th floor? Well, did you know that Tom was actually hanging off the side of the world's tallest building? Yeah, this one, in Dubai. What do you think was going through his mind before he did it? As Tom simply put it, hope I don't fall. Considering how often stunts go wrong for poor Tom, you may be surprised to hear that he pulled off his daredevil moves without a hitch. But he's no stranger to heights. He even climbed a similar height for Mission Impossible 2. Now, this movie had one of the greatest openings ever. This $546.4 million box office movie starts with Tom actually free climbing through the cliffs of Dead Horse Point in Utah.
The scary thing was the cliff was 2,000 feet high.
There wasn't even any protection on the ground, even though Tom would have to jump 15 feet at one point.
The stuff really scared me, so I was sweating and I got panic.
But Tom didn't necessarily share director John Woo's concerns.
I felt very confident with the team we had, and I felt confident that I could do it.
He'd even go so far as to say,
That was the most fun that I've had, probably on the entire picture.
it isn't hard to see why these movies did so well, when you consider the lengths Tom is willing to go to. We're just glad he hasn't been too seriously injured, minus a few bruises and a broken ankle. So which of these stunts did you find to be the most impressive? And were there any other examples from Tom we might have missed? Don't forget to let us know down in the comment section.